Oh boy, we're doing another one of these. Yet another live stream on the internet. Star, speaking, YouTube, people, person, star. Yeah, that one. I'm me, and you're listening to me. Hello, everybody. Gonna wait once again, as I always do when these streams begin, for people to pile in before I start. Hey, Flitzpipe says he is here. You are here. And then Kaiku is in the chat as well. I don't think I've seen you in a while, Kaiku. It's nice having you around. Um, no, I always like when lots of people start coming around at the beginning of these streams, because the faster people show up, the quicker I have more things to talk about, because you start getting feedback and responses based on the things you say, then you can respond to those things. It's like a big party, you know? And it's great. I just patroned you yesterday, Star. You were my first patron E. Yes, I saw your profile. You had asked a rant question. You said to rant about my ex. So I will rant about my ex come the February the 20th, when I release the rant podcast where I rant about all of the things that people have told me to. So your rant will be in there. Thank you once again. It's the man of the hour. Hello, Yi. I will try not to leave after 5 minutes this time. No, it's good, man. Do what you gotta do if you gotta do that. DZD in the chat says, "Hey, Star." Hello, DZD. It's the man, always here, dropping the wisdom as he does. Hello. Thanks. Hope the little contribution will help. It definitely does, man. It definitely does. Um, but yeah, it is a fine Monday morning today. It is almost 12 p.m. In fact, the sun is out in the sky, and we're just vibing here today. It's outside. I would film outside if I could actually have my internet travel with me all the way out there. I plan on taking a walk later today, but it is a beautiful day out there. It's a bit bright for my taste, but I have to live with it. Um, hey, Wes is in the chat. Early for a change. You are early for a change. It's nice seeing you here. But yeah, no, I think it's an absolutely beautiful day out today. I'm full of vigor and motivation. I think it's going to be a great day. I was just watching an interview with Elliot Rogers' dad, and then my phone went whoop whoop, and it said star at the top of my screen. Really calming moment. Damn. I mean, I guess the videos are related to one another because, as we know, Star is the biggest incel known to man, and so of course, I would inevitably be related to Elliot Rodger content in some way. But yeah, no, I appreciate people who have notifications on because then these streams can like start and get momentum much quicker. Um, because when people see the notification, oh, Star streaming now, it makes it much easier. Some people take longer to show up. Your dad would have a lot to answer for. Yeah, I mean, I would not be an Elliot Rodger. Just as a clarification here, I have a bit of self-awareness to me. But that would be a pretty funny timeline if that actually did occur. Um, I thought the biggest incel was negative XP. I mean, he kind of is. Like. I mean I haven't heard another person in the like in the music industry basically imply that they were a pedophile in multiple songs. Like I don't think he actually is. Obviously it was a joke, but the sort of tone and cadence that his music has, the sort of like very edgy lyrics he has, the fact that he is in overt neo-Nazi, like he says that he's a fascist and he's into like this race realist stuff. Even though he's Korean, I think that's a little bizarre. But yeah, he's pretty strange. He said on a live stream that 14 is okay, but 13 is weird. Yeah, yeah. So he's So it's not just a joke then that he's a pedophile. Okay. I see how it is. Um yeah, weird stuff going on with that guy. But I mean, I like some of his songs. He's going the German way. But most of his songs I think are pretty bad. Like I like two songs. I like the song he about Scott Pilgrim, and then I like the song that he did about how if you listen to the needle drop, your opinions don't matter or something. I don't remember the name of the song, but that one was fun. It's I would call his type of music like incel punk. That's basically what it is. It's incel punk, and that's why it gets shared on R9K constantly. Is because people on R9K are Eggy or negative XP. Definitely Eggy is better. Eggy is way better than negative XP. In just about every way in terms of music. Like uh, like his what was the it was the big banger that he did on a Manazian. That song was really good. I think I have it on my phone actually. But yeah, no, Eggy is based. I love Eggy. Uh, but but yeah, what was I gonna say? But yeah, it's weird how like Negative XP's music basically circulated because of R9K, and the whole incel thing is that incel's really attached to his music. Who is Eggy? He's how do I explain Eggy? He's basically this guy who was aimed for wanting to do like a shooting. Like he wasn't one egg white on Twitter. Yeah, I was just going to show his channel. He has a channel. It's actually it's in my sidebar on my channel of like the channels that I have linked where it says I think it says something like channels I like. It's one of the first things you see when you go on my YouTube channel. But there's a channel called First Last on there. And it that's basically him is that he made really personal vlogs about being an incel and this kind of thing, but he's like the only tolerable incel. Like he actually has a degree of self-awareness, and he's just fun to listen to. I feel relaxed when I listen to his videos, and a lot of them for me are very relatable. Like ones where he talks about depression and things like that. Like this one, this is one of my favorite videos on YouTube. Oh geez, that was loud. This is one of my favorite videos on YouTube right here, at least in terms of vlogs. It's called Why Eggy Liked the Mental Hospital. And it's basically just him talking about how chill and comfy it was to be in the mental hospital. And that video is really good. He's a bit of a meme on the internet. Uh, yeah, Report of the Week. Watched his videos at one point. He has videos about the black pill. Oh yeah, this was also one of the last videos he made was the Black Pill 3, The World is Against You. This is also like I really love this video right here. There's something so comfy about people recording in their cars. I don't know what it is, but it gets me every time. Um, oh, I think I've seen him before. Yeah, you probably have. He's a bit of a meme. But yeah, no, I love that man. He's great. Um lately, something to complain about. Lately I've been having problems with VLC on Linux. VLC hasn't been working properly. And I've wanted to watch this series right here, Chaos Head, just to finish it because it's a bad show. Let's be real here. This is a bad show. But I just want to have the novelty of having finished it because I think it's an interesting series, despite all of the flaws it has. Or it's actually interesting because of the flaws, I would say. But like this is dual audio. The version I have is a dual audio version of the series, and I don't have VLC working properly on my computer anymore. It just stopped working one day, so I'm sort of having to deal with I'm having to deal with it not working. Do you still use anonymous image boards? If so, what boards do you browse? I don't really use image boards nearly as much as I used to. No, I go on LaneChan still, um, but I don't really go anywhere else. I go to 420chan sometimes, not usually. It's not very active, and there's not a lot of interesting stuff on there. Sometimes I read Oboe-chan because I think it's comfy, but it feels like a lot of it is being infiltrated by normies now. So I don't really go on very many image boards. I like Sushi Girl, but Sushi Girl's really slow. 8kun, I go there to go on the V board, the video games board, basically exclusively. But beyond that, I don't really go there. I go to VR on 4chan. Well, I guess, yeah, I basically still do browse image boards. I don't know why I presented it, you know, in such a, you know, in a way that would imply that I barely used it when actually I have this many that I do look at. But yeah, I like VR. VR is good. The retro video games board on 4chan, that's nice. Why do you use a paper towel as a mouse pad? Isn't that really impractical? It works better than just putting the mouse on the thing, on the what's it called? Um, just putting the mouse on the. I think I heard the mailman. One sec. Just putting the mouse on the what table, because every time I do that, like the mouse barely works, and at least if I put the mouse pad, or at least if I put the mouse on a paper towel, it kind of works. You know what I mean? Did I not hear the mailman? I thought I did. It might have just been someone over there. This mailman, man, it's as if he's fucking with me at this point. I've been waiting for him to show up. It's like every stream now. I'm waiting for him to show up. I watched Chaos Head after you talked about it, doing research before I take up another show. Yeah, it's not very good, like I said. It's just kind of a show that exists. Yeah, I'll be right back. I think that was him. Possibly. Well, you would have seen his car afterwards, so. Let's see here. No, that wasn't him. I guess I was just hearing sounds. I should have expected it wasn't him because it's only 12. Usually he takes until like 1 to get here. It takes him until 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock. Did you hear negative XP about negative XP being on the Dick Show? No, I did not. I don't pay attention to the Dick Show. I've never liked it. Um, so I don't really pay attention to what's going on with it. Um, but I mean, he gets weird people on there, especially people from 4chan. It's a pretty regular occurrence on the Dick Show, so it doesn't surprise me. That's usually like the kind of people he gets. Um, why am I hearing these weird sounds? Like I keep hearing doors opening coming from the other room, and I know there's no doors opening. I keep hearing doors opening and people coming to the door. It's really, really bothering me. Um, but what was I talking about? Dalton Miller says hello. Hello. Hey, nice seeing you again. I haven't seen you for a couple streams. Um, but yeah, I don't really listen to the Dick Show. Ugh. I think I might be coming down with a cold in a bit here, because both my sister and my dad had colds, and my dad was sick for like 2 weeks, and my sister was sick for about a week, and they probably contaminated me because the house is small. It's really small, and while my immune system is pretty decent, I think I might have caught something because I've been sneezing a lot more lately. Um, Yeah, I've been slacking. Better hope it's not Corona-chan. Yeah, no, I mean, I live in Kentucky, so the likelihood, I mean, there's like no Chinese people, first of all, but the likelihood of me getting Corona-chan is pretty damn low, so I'm good. But, like, it's so weird, right? Because all of the places that in the US that have gotten Corona-chan are like Illinois and places like that. They're really big cities. So I'm not too worried about it. where some people are online are really, really terrified of Corona Chan coming about, and I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal because the Chinese government's basically locked down the whole Hubei province, right? And they're trying to contain it the best that they possibly can, and their government's like super authoritarian. So I mean, I don't think it's going to spread. Um, not to the US in any significant way at least. But some people are really worried about it. And I feel for them, but you know, God, I wish I could be patient zero of a pandemic. That would be pretty cool. Um, I sometimes think of that. Like the other day, I was thinking, what if I just randomly got SARS? That would be a pretty funny way to die. I think about that a lot. Like other people are very afraid of thinking about anything to do with death, but I'm like constantly thinking of funny ways to die. Because I think it's hilarious. Like even just random things like that, I still think is funny. Um, but I guess it's because I'm very, very comfortable with the idea. I'm able to be a bit playful about it. But whenever I make jokes about dying to just like normal people IRL, they always get really uncomfortable, where it feels like something that a lot of people try to keep out of their mind. Um, won't be able to play Stalker IRL then. I really do want to visit Chernobyl. I want to visit Chernobyl and make a video about it. That'd be so cool. Um, each month a new apocalypse is happening. In a couple weeks the media will forget about it and so will the people. Last month it was World War III. Yeah, I didn't think World War III was going to happen either. I always thought that was bullshit. But let's see. Corona isn't even that bad. From what I've heard, only old people die from corona. Even in healthcare paradise Germany, 1,000 people a year just die because of the fucking flu. I see. Um, I remember hearing that the coronavirus had like an R naught of like 4.2 or something. It was a pretty high R naught, which the way that essentially works is that it has something to do with how quickly the disease spreads. I'm not a biologist. I don't really know how all that works, but there was a Chinese research group that had suggested that the R naught was pretty high. Um, and so I think that was a cause for concern, but I'm not a biologist, so I really don't know how that stuff works. Um, but yeah, I think it'll be fine. Um, and people get too worried about people get too up in arms about these kind of things. And I guess maybe I've just been way more mellow ever since my, weird near-death heart-stopping experience in December. But I really don't see that much of a reason to worry. Wait, people seriously believed in World War III. Typical American news. Yeah, I mean, but the American news was treating it like it wasn't that big of a deal. Like a lot of the American news was actually defending Trump. Even like the liberals, even though they were denouncing it, at the same time they were propping up the same view that he had. So it was weird. Ron Paul is nowhere to be seen. I love Ron Paul. He's great. Like, I'm not an economic libertarian in the right-wing sense, but I do think Ron Paul is super based. I love Ron Paul. Um, I still listen to the Ron Paul Liberty Report every now and again because I just like him as a person. And a lot of his views on war, I think, are correct. But yeah, he's cool. I want to get his books. Uh, what's your view of Ben Shapiro? I just think he's a bit silly. Um, I prefer RuPaul. Yeah, no, I just think Ben Shapiro's a bit silly. He gets way, way too up in arms about things where a lot of the time it feels like he's very easily offended. Like you get the sense that that he's the kind of person who, because he had a very, to use the term privilege for a little bit, that he had a, he had a very well-off kind of life, and so, I always get the sense from him that he's the kind of person who's had a lot of stuff given to him, and so he has this sort of snide, pretentious air about him, like, oh, facts and logic, I'm correct, like I don't like that. And a lot of his actual points of view are really dumb with his weird, authoritarian religious, understanding of like abortion and gay people and these kind of things, where he's very authoritarian with his religious views. And so I don't think that's good. Um, it's not going to be World War III, but the Iran War will happen. Invading Iran has been the US's goal ever since 9/11. Yeah, I agree. It's just a question of when. Um, like if Trump gets reelected, I think it most likely will happen. Um, the trans globalist agenda. Um, but yeah. And Ben Shapiro's also said a lot of really racist things about Palestinians, which I think is bad. Um, he's a very, very big supporter of Israel, and obviously I am not a supporter of Israel. Um, I330 says pee pee poo poo. Hello to you as well. Yeah, it's having a relaxed day today. The sun is out. It's a fine afternoon. Um, whoa, I hate Israel as well. Nice. Yeah, it's a fine afternoon today. Um, just sitting here, relaxing. Um, wait, do you believe in ghosts? If so, have you had anything paranormal happen to you? Um, I don't believe in ghosts, no. I like in my mind, if you can't find proof of the thing, like if there's not observable evidence of a thing being real, it's very hard for me to believe in it. I think most, quote unquote, paranormal things that happen to people can be explained by analyzing the actual situation. Like sometimes it's the wind or something. But there's been all kinds of very weird situations that people didn't understand why it happened, but there was actually a scientific there's actually a scientific reason behind it. So I think a lot of paranormal things can be explained either by like analyzing the brain or the situation that the person was in. Um, I don't believe in paranormal experiences, no. Yeah, but it's still too damn cold out. I like the cold. I like the cold personally. Um, Yeah, going outside in my coat feels nice. Just came home from work and I want to sleep forever. Damn. Well, what is your job, I330? Are you doing that programming thing you had mentioned wanting to do, or are you doing something else now? Logic, exclamation point, exclamation point. Yes. Science cucks get BTFO daily by X. I don't like X very much. There's some cool pictures on there, but what do you think about Scottish independence? From what I've heard, two-thirds of Scotland were anti-Brexit, and the Scottish farmers will lose thousands of Polish and Romanian workers. Don't quote me on that. I support Scottish independence 100%. Scotland has always been a different country than Britain and all that. And obviously, I support Irish independence as well. I think a united Ireland would be a very good thing. But yeah, I mean, Scotland has always had their own culture. They've always been their own nation. They're just a nation that's occupied by the UK, or by Great Britain. So, yeah, no, I support Scottish independence. The question is, though, is that because they don't have nearly as much oil as they used to, you gotta wonder what Scotland would look like as an economy if they did become independent. Um, I've heard some people say that they would be like a third world country if they became independent. I don't know about that, but it seems like they're pretty integrated within the UK. So I support it on principle as someone who supports the self-determination of occupied countries. But at the same time, I don't know if it would even be able to be pulled off economically. Um, so I like to think that there is always a possibility of things like the paranormal and conspiracy theories being real. I have a lot of trouble believing that. Like conspiracy theories, I do think there are some conspiracy theories that there's a logical basis for or a precedent for, but for paranormal stuff, not as much. Um, let's see here. Yeah, software engineering. Nice. Scotland started the Union. Scotland has always been a different country than Britain. Ameris heart education. Shake my head. But does anyone know what's up with the Northern Ireland border since Brexit? I have no idea. I don't pay attention to that stuff, and frankly, I don't care. Um, Scotland didn't get invaded by England and forced into the Union. They were. Is this working? Okay. Okay, let me try and rephrase what I'm saying. What I'm trying to say is that they have is that they have a population who clearly doesn't want to be a part of the UK, who they only voted to, a lot of them only voted to stay in the UK because they thought they'd be able to stay in the EU if they did that. And they have their own distinct culture within the country. They have their own distinct cultural history and a long history of being oppressed by the British. I'm not saying that they were necessarily oppressed by them in recent years in terms of like military action or something. I'm saying there's a history of that happening. Um, and also there's other things like the UK keeping all of their nukes in Scotland. That's weird. And using the oil, taking the oil money and using it in other places and this kind of thing. But favorite years of the 2010s? Um, well, the best year I've ever had was 2019. So I guess I'd say 2019 was my favorite year of the 2010s. Um, yeah, I can't really think of anything. See, nothing really. There's a referendum at the moment, and the debate between a soft and hard border hasn't fully been resolved. I see. I feel like even if their economy would go to shit, why should the British government care once Scotland is independent? I agree. Um, let's see. A conspiracy requires only two people. A conspiracy theory is simply theorizing about that occurring. Don't give in to the CIA's intentional discrediting of an innocent term. I agree 100%. Conspiracies happen all the time. They are British. I disagree. Um, what are your long-term plans for making money and sustaining yourself? I know you're trying to get neat bucks, but that doesn't seem very stable. Um, yeah, no, I probably am not going to do that because I have to leave home pretty early. I guess you weren't here for me explaining this, but basically what's going on about is that I haven't been going to school for the last couple months, and I have a feeling pretty soon my dad's going to find out that I haven't been doing any of my work. And because all of it's on the computer, he's just been thinking that I've been doing it. I haven't been doing it. Um, and basically, what I'm going to do is that by the time I turn 18, I'm basically just going to dip. I'm going to go dip and become homeless in another state and get my GED and get a job. That's the idea. And I'm probably going to have to suffer a whole lot working a job. But if I can eventually get like a comfy night guard job where I don't have to do anything, that would be nice. That's like the long-term goal. That's the long con right there. And then I can just save up as much money as I can to go hang out with some friends in some other countries, and then, live with some of them, and then go to like a really cheap country where I don't have to pay as much money for anything because the US dollar is really valuable over there or something like that. Like, there's homes that you can rent in like Vietnam, for example, that are like 200 bucks a month, you know? So if I had a bunch, or in Kazakhstan's, it's even better. So if I just had a lot of money saved up, I could live in one of these countries for, pretty cheap. But that's where my mind's at. I want to make these videos traveling and stuff, but I have to save the money to do that, and in order to do that, I have to work here. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I really don't know what I'm gonna do. I just am kind of taking shots in the dark. I know that this year I'm going to have to leave home because my dad he's not gonna let me drop out of my school of my own volition when I turn 18. He's just not gonna like that. And so I have to, let's see here. Ethics aside, you'll have to put a significant amount of muscle to work into security, to work in security. That is true. Yeah, no, you have to get a license. You have to get a license to be a guard, and you also have to be stronger than I currently am. Um, oh God, my cat is going to re, and she is really loud because she is basically deaf by now. Oh no. Hey, that's how I dropped out. Did computer classes, but didn't actually do them. Yeah. It's a good time. Um, but yeah, I know there is muscle involved, but in comparison to other jobs, it's very little work. Are you worried about being homeless? Not at all. There's a number of shelters that exist around the country. I could go to one of them. Um, it's there. Even if I had to like sleep on the street or something for a little while, I don't see anything particularly scary about that. If as long as you just have a place that's dry and you can stay warm, it's really not that big of a deal. Um, did I tell you about that time I almost slept in a what is it called? Not a shipyard, a courtyard in Las Vegas, Nevada. I almost slept in a courtyard that had like a line of blankets and stuff in it, but we ended up basically given the money to stay at a hotel at the time. But I almost slept in like a courtyard of homeless people that night. And it was only because of the generosity of someone else that we were able to get into a hotel. Um, but let's see here. New Zealand is a pretty good country. It seems like a pretty good country. The air quality seems like it would be a bit much. I'd probably cough a lot because of Australia BTFOing you guys. But yeah, New Zealand seems very nice. The problem is that it's super expensive there. Everything is expensive there. Be careful with homelessness because you could get stuck in it. I mean, I don't really see a problem with that. As long as my things don't get stolen. Like there's lots of people who live in tents in the woods and they do fine. I don't see a problem with the idea of being stuck in something like that. First of all, I don't think I would. I don't think I would get stuck in it, but if I did, it's just another experience. Um, there was an Anon on Much that ran away like you said you want to, and he's still homeless. He posts on AstroChan now. Um, I don't even know what AstroChan is. I don't think I've ever been there. Uh, hey Star, I got a little more free time today, but I gotta get some stuff done. Hope you're having a fun stream. Yes, I am having a fun stream. Good luck with those things you gotta get done. Lynx95 says, "What up, man? Hey, what up to you? I guess you changed your name from Luke Rothwell. I recognize your avatar though. Um, it's nice seeing you again. But yeah, no, like, because I'm very young, and because I have mental health problems, I'm more likely to get into some kind of shelter because I'm a young person and I again I have a history of mental health problems. So I'm a higher priority person to get in. YouTube man. Yeah. No, I don't what was I gonna say? Nut, it has a decent PPH, but what? I don't know what you're on about, mate. Yeah. Um, but yeah, people are weird. I don't know what they're all on about. Mm. Okay, dot dot dot. Yeah, I don't know what Kaiku is saying either. Um, but yeah, uh, yeah, I don't know why I hate school so much. Well, I know why I hate school. It has a lot of it. I've already explained the upbringing thing. But it's just weird. It's weird. I hate U2. Yeah, U2 is a bad band. Midnight Breakfast is hi senpai. Hello to you as well. Was talking about Astro-chan? I don't get what you're on about, mate. Um, but yeah, I have like if I kept going to school here, I would have an entire another year of this bullshit. And I hate all of the people. I hate all of the people there. High school was the best time of my life. I feel bad for you, man. Everything went downhill after. I think that's you always see the sign of a failure when you hear them talk constantly about high school. That's why I hate normal people so much. Is because you talk to, a normal working class person in their like 40s or 30s, and they're constantly talking about how great high school was for them. I do not trust those people at all. Not just because they're incredibly boring and are generally, because they look back on a time where they were very naive and and should have improved from there. Um, I don't know. I don't like people like you. That's basically what I'm saying. Um, it depends on your experience. My grade level only had 75 students. It doesn't matter. Like the fact that your life hasn't improved every single year is a bad thing. If you're constantly looking back on, oh, high school was so good, bro, I just want to go back, that means that you're not making things better, and you haven't improved in any way. Um, and so I find people like that boring. Um, but school takes up so much time out of your childhood that you end up not having enough left over to find any interests. Yeah, that is true. I'm a normie, kiss me. Um, yeah, like unless you're just really into socializing with dumb normies, then there's not really anything there. You don't have much free time. You come home from school and you're tired from being in school all day. Um, Imagine a world where Yang would be president and you would get that sweet, sweet UBI. I know you still disagree with his policies, but still. Um, I mean, I would like an Andrew Yang presidency because if I got UBI, I could just save up all of my freedom dividends and then go to Thailand or Kazakhstan or wherever and just have that money there. And so but yeah, no, you should always be feeling like this year is better than the last year. Like even though I've had a really bad 2020 in January at least, I still feel like so far this year is doing better than last year was. You have to feel that way about every single year. Every year has to be better than the last. If you're not working to make every year better than the last, what are you doing, man? Like 2019 was the best year of my life. Not because I was in a great situation, a lot of bad stuff happened, but because I had the mindset of trying to make it better in some way and enjoying certain things. So let's see here. Middle school was the best time of my life. I was actually an outgoing and happy person, and of course had no real responsibilities. People look fondly upon high school because of how easy it is and because it's the last time many people have social lives. Um, I mean that's why you have to try and make friends then. If what you want is having a social life, then just make friends. And I know it's not that easy, but like you have to try. If you try hard enough for long enough, you'll eventually find somebody you connect with. If you aren't able to do that after years and years and you're not looking in the right places, like the people who I've met from the internet IRL, I some of the best experiences I've had with people were with people I met online. And so, if you can't find people close to you in your state or whatever that you can connect with, then look to the internet. Um, Elementary school was the best time of my life. This is just getting depressing. Um, let's see. While you were socializing, I was mastering my skills on Mount and Blade. Damn. Have you applied for Neatbucks? No. I had decent high school memories, but I hardly look back on them fondly. Nice. Um, let's see. Uh, Same as Tomodachi, to be honest. Ever since middle school, everything has been going to shit. Nostalgia is kind of gay. I agree. If you think you have scarce free time during high school, and you're not technically qualified to say that because you're usually a NEET, wait until you have to work 40 hours a week. Yeah, no, I know you're right. Um, I'm gonna it's going to kill me, working. Not literally, I mean metaphorically, but it's gonna be terrible. But it's what I gotta do, at least for a while. The thing is, you have to keep the idea of getting something better in the back of your mind. Like that's how I get so many things that I don't want to do done, because I just remember, oh yeah, it's going to be better eventually, and so I just have to get through this bad part to get to the good part. And that's easier said than done, but it helps to try very hard to keep that in mind. School sucks, life sucks, drop out. I agree. I always thought when people talk about how they miss school sounds really sad, because that means their fucking jobs are literally genuinely fucking worse than motherfucking school. Yes, I agree. Um, New video idea, my problem with stEr. Good luck with that, mate. Um, uh, in high school, you're given friends by default. That doesn't happen in the working world. Most normies don't want internet friends. Just make friends, bro, is the same Chad advice you rail against. Um, I mean, maybe it is. Maybe I have some Chad isms in there, but I think it's true. So if they're just not trying hard enough. In high school, you're given friends by default. Lol, no. Yeah, I thought that was a little strange. Like, I think what he means is that you're given access to people by default. You're definitely not given access to friends by default. I had no friends. Um, at least you have an opportunity. I'm homeschooled and have no social life outside of Discord. Um, yeah, like I would be able to sit here and say that's preferable, because I've experienced both. But you know, I just don't like people. I understand. I understand if other people do like people. But I feel like there are other ways of making friends without people give up too quickly. That's what I'm trying to say, is that with stuff like this, there's always other ways of going about it. Like, for example, I'm really into if you don't have access to friends, you're not trying hard enough, bro. Just try harder. Not that hard, dude. Um I mean, like, I don't think what you're saying is necessarily the same as what I was saying, because what I was talking about was the idea of making friends in general. If you're making friends in a school setting, it's more difficult because you're only given a limited pool of people who are inevitably going to have a certain set of interests based on the specific culture that they're coming from. Snapchat, Facebook, these kind of things. They're all basically the same. I mean, everyone is different, but like these people are drones, dude. Like they're all very, very similar to one another, and so it's almost like you're talking to the same person every time. And like I Because I've been through the experience of being in high school and not relating to anybody and just never knowing what to say, it's much more difficult to do that than it is to make friends in general. That's a false equivalency. You're falsely equivalating. That's not a word. Um, I don't like it. Just workout bros. I mean, if it improves your mental state, you should. Uh, with the internet, you can make friends that you want to make despite the uncaring geography you're saddled with. Yes, exactly. Like Like for example, I grew up in a very rural town. The town that I was in had about 1,000 people. I lived in the woods. There were trees everywhere, and so when I went to school, I was stuck with these super racist Tennessean assholes who were heavily into like Christianity and stuff. And I got beat up a lot for not being a Christian. And for listening to metal music and this kind of stuff. And of course, I was a little bit more forthright with my point of view. I wasn't disrespectful about it, but I was pretty open about my opinions. Um, and I don't know. That location sounds nice, but the people sound terrible. The people were terrible. They were incredibly racist. Um, a heaven populated by demons. Yes. Giving up sooner is often preferable, allows you to work on obtaining happiness on your own. It depends on what you're giving up on. I don't think like if like I feel like some people do genuinely just need friends. Like some people it's just encoded into the way that they think. It's natural. Like people are social animals, and so it makes sense that people would want to be around other people. Like I'm an outlier in the way that I socialize. I'm very different. Well, maybe not very different, but I'm different in certain ways. And so like I can't expect everyone to have the mindset that I have. So that's why I say like if you want friends and they make you happy, they improve your life, which objectively they do for most people, then you should try and seek external ways of making them, which is not that hard when you get down to it. So I don't want to hear about school because I'm on winter break, so I'll try turning the topic. My cat has always been clingy, but for the last 2 weeks, literally all she wants to do is give is if wants me to do is give her food and let her sleep on my belly, which she is doing right now. Um, anyway, pets are good. Get a pet. Yes, everyone should get a pet. Pets are great. Let's see. Making friends in general for most people, i.e., not you, means real life friends. It is not socially acceptable to strike up a conversation with a pedestrian, someone on a bus, someone in a store, etc. It is acceptable to do that in school. Well, what I'm saying is that those people, if they have to make them in real life, they're not trying hard enough. They should be seeking other ways of doing it. And then eventually meeting those people in real life. Because online friends can become real life friends. Anyone who openly says they're an outlier, that they don't want to be around other people, is not qualified to speak about how hard it is or isn't to make friends in school versus the real world. Well, I mean, I just did, and I think my arguments made quite a bit of sense. Um, just go to the gym and strike up a conversation, incel. This is the thing, though, is that, like, even that, like, I see my dad striking up conversations with random people all the time, and they always are acceptable of what he's saying. Like, something just comes up in the store, and he'll just start talking to the person about that, and then they'll just, like, start laughing at his jokes, and then they talk for, like, an hour. Almost every time we go out, he finds somebody that he talks to for like over an hour. Um, so I wouldn't even say that it's socially unacceptable. You just have to know how to do it, which is hard. Um, but it is possible. Technically, it is possible. Um, Failed normies use pets as a cope. Too many white girls fuck their dogs. I don't understand what this obsession with, coping is bad. Like, why do people say they use it as a cope as if it's like a derogatory thing? I don't understand that because coping, like in a psychological sense, like one of the first things they ask you about in therapy is what do you use to cope with your mind? How do you cope? What are your coping skills? That's what they call them, coping skills. Why do you people treat that as if it's a bad thing? It's a very good thing. Um, I feel super anxious because I cope with my depression, anxiety slash needdom with substances and I ran out last night. It sucks. I know it's bad and I really need to be less dependent on them, but what's the point when I'm depressed either way? Yeah, I know that how that feels. And it's tough because like a lot of the time it feels like it's just not the feeling or the depression just isn't going to go away. Um, I do think it's worth trying to get better, but ultimately you know yourself better than I do, so I can't really say. But yeah, no, it sucks, man. It really does. I know how you feel. Uh, it's only acceptable if you do it as soon as you meet people. If you never speak to anyone for the first 5 months of school, you can't suddenly change and make friends. That makes sense. Just go outside and talk to people, bro. Goes outside, says hi to strangers. Stranger ignores you. Um, yeah, back when I went to the gym, a guy started talking to me. It was kind of wholesome for a Chad to lecture me on protein. That's cute. Um, You really expect the divorced 40-year-old part-time plumber to just hang out with transsexual furries on Discord? Um, Again, I think that's another false equivalency. But I'm not really talking about I would like I'm sort of hmm how do I explain this? I mean, there are lots of people, at least I've observed this, of like people who are in that age making friends on like Twitter and Facebook and meeting up with them. Like there's entire apps, like there's entire meetup apps that exist specifically to make groups for older people, and then the older people come and meet up with one another. But there's lots of infrastructure that exists outside of Discord that older people regularly participate in. So I don't really understand what you're trying to say. Again, it feels like another false equivalency. Um, I cope all the time. Normies just don't like coping. I think it depends on who you're talking about. Because normie is a really broad term. Uh, and so, yeah, I don't know. I'd need more experience to be able to agree or disagree. I don't understand why the bus example is how it is. Why is it weird to talk to random people in public? The thing your dad does exists, but just sounds impossible to me. I guess he's just a lot less anxious than other people are. Thanks, Star. Yeah, no problem. Um, but hang in there, man. Hang in there. The way I try to see it sometimes is that like the pain that you're feeling now, especially in the beginning, hurts a lot. Um, let's see. You're a teenage need with a minor e-celeb following who can stream at any time to chat with 10 people. You are not qualified to speak about this. Well, I just did, and I was correct. And I'm speaking from people's experience beyond my own, so I don't really know what you're on about. Um, uh, Online friends are real friends, and the medium allows for deeper connection. I agree. Um, but let's see. What was I gonna say? Yeah, these old people friend apps are everywhere. Yeah, exactly. Um, Normies tend to not get anxiety because they don't think before they do anything. I mean, I know my dad pretty well, and I know he thinks about a lot of things. Like he's a physics guy, man. Uh, he's pretty analytical in general. I think he just doesn't care. Like, especially with a lot of the kind of jokes and like the things that he'll do in public, it feels like he just does not care. Um, Hi, Star. Good evening. I just said it, bro. I know you said it. I'm saying your statements hold no credence. If you can't understand how my statements hold credence, that is a problem with you, not me. I think what I'm saying is fairly obviously correct, but if you can't understand what I'm saying, okay. Um, but yeah, I what was I going on about? Yeah, XY. I always like XY's avatar. His avatar is cool. Um, I don't know what character it is though. I don't recognize who the character is. Oh yeah, I just don't understand. Yes, if you understood, you would agree with me. I never said that it, you know me non-understander. I see. I don't know either. You just randomly found the picture. Ah, yes, these old people friend apps like Grindr allows different generations to come together over common interests. Damn. Anyone who disagrees with you doesn't under about anything doesn't understand, bro. I mean, like, I, hmm, how do I explain this? It, I don't know how to make what I was saying more simple though. Like, it feels like it should be fairly obvious what I said. I think I did some edit effect on it. I see. I like to do that. The times I tried talking to random people, my anxiety wasn't even the problem. Throughout my life, the way I speak, the way I bring up, you tell them, Star. Damn. Um, but wait, what was okay? So Flitzpipe was saying, the times I tried talking to random people wasn't even the problem. Throughout my life, the way I speak, the way I bring up topics and talk during conversations always seem weird to many people. Yeah, no, there's like I don't think that's like a problem in and of itself. Is being like being idiosyncratic isn't inherently a bad thing. It's how you present it and go about it. Because ultimately everything is marketing. Like we're constantly marketing and selling ourselves to other people. And even when we're not thinking about it, we're doing it. And so you have to be able to sort of present the weird parts about you in an appealing way. And that can be difficult. I'm still trying to learn how to do it. It wasn't very difficult to make friends when I was volunteering, for example. When I was volunteering in Maine, at the library and at the park, there were other people who were doing it with us. Um, and I struck up a number of conversations with them, and it wasn't too difficult. I just didn't like any of the people. Like we ended up talking for a while, but it just didn't work for me. And I think that is a problem that a lot of people run into. Like a lot of people have trouble connecting with other people, and so they have to cycle through a lot of different people to find people who they do connect with. And so I'm not saying that that part isn't difficult. I'm just saying that it is possible to find somebody. We are merely external manifestations of Star's mind. We disappear when he stops talking to us. So he is right, for he is our architect. Hello, tramp stamp. Um, Facebook is meant to connect with people you already know in real life. Meetup is only used by an extreme minority. The most reliable way to meet people online for the purpose of meeting IRL are dating sites, which most people don't want to use unless they are looking for action. And again, most normies don't want internet friends. Um, well, I've seen Facebook used more and more for people who people don't know in real life. Uh, like with older people, because I was friends with a lot of people in their, 40s and 50s, 30s, etc., who my dad knew or who were related to people who were at my school. I just added everybody when I was on Facebook. And I noticed that that was a phenomenon that occurred on there. And I had people who made videos about old video games as well on my Facebook at the time. But yeah, like I think it's fairly normal. It's a fairly normal thing for people to friend people who they know, from the internet, who they just met through Facebook groups, for example. It happens all the time. Uh, And again, it doesn't matter if it's used by an extreme minority. My point was that it's possible. It's the presentation of so many of these arguments is as if it's impossible. It's not impossible. It is totally possible. People just aren't trying hard enough. That's where saying trying hard enough comes from, is because if it's possible, you can still do it. That works on the presupposition that Star is even a person. Yes, I am an entity rather than a being. Can't find niggas this cool IRL. Thanks, man. Um, yeah, nowadays connecting with people seems near impossible despite technology being available to connect with others. I see. Most normies use Discord, Reddit, etc. They have lots of e-friends from what I've observed. Yeah, Reddit is super, super mainstream. Super, super mainstream. I don't know about Discord yet, though. Hi, Mr. Cool Guy. Hi, XY. Fancy seeing you here. Ooh, woo. Um, oh yeah, Mr. Cool Guy is the guy who comments based on every single Red video. I can't imagine Zoomer normies don't have e-friends. They don't meet IRL. They still play Vidya and they meet people like that. That is true, 100%. Um, the thing about normies and internet friends is a thing even among Zoomers. 2 years ago, I mentioned an internet friend in school, and most people gave me a weird look. Um, yeah, yeah, that's me. I see. I never said it was impossible. I'm saying your advice rests on steps that most people it would be aimed at would not want or know how to take. Um, yeah, no, I don't even disagree with that. That's that like the problem was is that you're with the presentation of your arguments, you were sort of presenting it like it was a bad thing that I was telling people to just try harder. I'm saying that it would be it would be possible for them to try harder. It would be possible for them to do it. They're just not trying hard enough. If you can't see that the special opportunities offered naturally in a school setting simply do not exist in real life afterwards, then you aren't even trying to see another view. You're basically telling coal miners to learn to code. Um, I don't I don't think it's that extreme, but again, I had said that it was easier in school. I didn't deny that for a lot of people it is easier in school. Um, I just said that it is possible to do it a different way, and that people aren't trying hard enough to do it a different way. But coding is very difficult. I don't Coding is much, much more difficult than like opening up an app and trying to find other people. Um, I don't know what to talk about with people that I don't know. Most of the time I talk about sports and anime. Nice. Small talk working can't exist. I believe it is a lie made up by normies to fool us all. Um, it depends on who the person is. If the small talk leads to a bigger conversation, then it's not small talk anymore. But in that case, it starts to work. Um, I think the stigma of internet friends comes partially from school internet safety painting the internet entirely as a predator boogeyman. I see. Coding is easier than making friends. I33O can back me up on this. I mean, maybe for you. I used to code. It was fun. But then I got really sad because I was essentially starving at the time, living with my mom, and so I lost all motivation to do it because I was like 15, and not having food made me more emotional back then. Of course, nowadays I have food, so it's a bit different. But I like to code because I learn. Yeah, learning is fun. Is YouTube blocking my messages? I saw pee pee poo poo. Did you say anything else? I feel like the main issue is finding out what to talk about in general. Small talk can only go so far, though. Yeah, that is true. And I think it helps to ask people questions, but not seem like you're interrogating them. Like, ask people questions that are very open-ended, that can have a lot of answers to them, and that you can get really big answers out of. Show that you're attentive and that you're listening, and try to extrapolate something to say based on the things that they said to you. I've noticed this phenomenon a lot of people not replying to things that people say, and it's weird to me. Like, I never understand it because I feel like there's always infinite things that you could theoretically respond to for most things, unless it's just something you completely agree with. If you agree with what the other person said, it's like, okay, I can't really expand on that. I already agree with everything you said. But like usually there's like a little opening of like a way that you could pivot the conversation towards something related or just expand on what they said. And so asking questions that don't have like a yes or no answer, I think is really important. That helped me out for a while trying to become friends with normies, and it worked. I just didn't want to keep doing it. Uh, but you can't ask too many because, again, you'll seem like you're interrogating someone. The goal is to be able to flow into a conversation. Lane could code, but she still had problems finding genuine connection. I mean, she's a cartoon character, though, mate. I still dabble in coding from time to time. That's great. Every time I mention chatting with people online, my dad holds a lecture about pedophiles online. Still, that topic is important at his job. Aren't you like 17? Look up Findom. I'm not looking that up. That's it's like a sex thing. I'm not looking that up. Late stage as fuck. Most people see online interaction as a weird generational gap. Just a cartoon character, bruh. Um, let's see. I wish my dad protected my boy pussy from pedos. I'm 17 in 4 weeks. Oh, okay, but you're 16, so who cares? You're old enough to have sex. Um, but yeah, like it's so weird because when I was 16, I had mentioned wanting to meet a guy online that I wanted to have sex with to my parents, and they were just like, "Yeah, go for it." They literally didn't care. Uh, maybe my parents are just different. I don't know. Um, but but yeah, it was weird. My mom caught me watching some videos, some Islamic videos, and found out I had some Muslim friends and thought I was going to join ISIS. That's terrible. Um, yeah, that I mean, there's a big media scare about that kind of thing now. I believe. Um, just a cartoon character, but dude, I love her. It's impossible for me to like sincerely feel any kind of love for someone that's not real. Like it's not a real person. I can't feel love for something that's in fiction because it's an abstraction created by people, you know? Like the things that represent the character may be things that have existed in reality on some level, you know, they had to find inspiration from somewhere, but that doesn't make the character less of a, you know, less pretend. I've always thought that's weird with like waifus and stuff. But uh, let's see. I have an Egyptian friend. Well, one of my best friends, he's Egyptian, and I remember he told me that he had thought about going to Libya and joining ISIS when he was really suicidal, and I thought it was like the coolest thing when he had told me that. Of course, ISIS is bad. Don't join ISIS. They're a very bad, cruel organization. But yeah. I remember when my mom gave me the bad people online talk when I was caught posting on the Roblox forums. She then made me sit through the entire movie Strange Land. I've never heard of that film. Um, but But yeah, it was I never really had very many conversations like that. Like my parents just never really cared. They always thought going online was just something that I was gonna do anyway, and so they just didn't care. We need to move to Twitch so I can actually chat here. Based boomers giving you a reason not to put your name online. Nice. Yeah, I don't think most people should put like their last name online. If they say their first name, it doesn't really matter. But um, personally, I don't care if my last name is online because there's so many bad things that are tied to my name on like my school record or just like police reports of running away from home and stuff. Like the first result that you get when you Google my name is a police report saying I have schizophrenia and that I ran away from home. And it so I don't look very good. I don't look very good when you look up my name. So there's, you know, there's not much worse I can do to it. Old people can be hilariously incompetent with computers. They unironically click on ads saying that they won $10,000 and some of them legit get scammed by dodgy Indian companies. Yeah, that it's really sad. I don't know how to teach older people how to use computers. Like my dad is unique because he was into coding, what is it called? Uh, it, I forget the language he used in like the 1980s, but he had like a Commodore 64 and like Amiga and stuff. He was really into Amigas. Like he had like a super expensive Amiga when it first came out. And he used to do like online scams like in the proto internet, like on Usenet and stuff. he like before the actual like World Wide Web became a thing, he would do scams online. I don't know how exactly he did it, but he had this really weird process that he tried to explain to me that I didn't understand. And so he was always like obsessed with computers and how technology works and stuff. For a while, he fixed technology for a living. And so, someone like him, like he went to school for this stuff, you know? He spent time, learning it back when it was first becoming a thing. So like he may be like almost 50 years old now, but he has a much different understanding of, how computers work in the modern day than, someone who's his same age but didn't do that back in the day. But he's in the very big minority. So let's see here. First names can be very common, so the chance of a dox is far lower. Yeah, exactly. Um, I have a unique last name, so I don't like to put it online. His dad's Terry Davis. The third result when you DuckDuckGo star's real name is a video about Crystal Pepsi. Yeah, I donated. I donated the Dolly Popka. The Dolly Popka at the time, a guy who just reviewed Xbox games. Back when I made videos about retro video games, I gave him Crystal Pepsi that I had won in a contest. At the time, I had signed up my name for this Crystal Pepsi contest to get it for free, and I sent him one because he wanted to drink it but didn't win the contest. So yeah, that was a thing. But he had said that he put my name in the description of the video. Um, does that still happen though? I feel like only people over 70 still fall for those. Yeah, less people fall for them now, but like my mom would still fall for them sometimes because she just doesn't listen. Sort of want to write my own compiler. Star, get your dad on stream. He's at work today. I don't know. Maybe I'll do a video with him at some point. Usenet was not proto-internet. Listen, I don't know how all of these things work. I'm just going off of my memory. Um, 12-year-old me playing Minecraft single player. Mom walks into room. Weird, afraid, angry look. Are you playing that killer game? First bra moment in my life. Dude, I was playing like Halo, like the original Halo when I was like 5 years old. When I was like 3 years old, um well, yeah, no, I played Halo 3 when I was 5 because Halo 3 had just came out. It was 2007. So yeah, when I was 3 years old, I was playing original Halo, and there were some other M-rated games that I played at the time, but yeah, no, my parents just never cared. The only thing they cared about was nudity, is that I was not allowed to see nudity or sexual suggestions in anything, but everything else, like if it had violence in it, drug use, swears, they didn't care about any of that stuff. My mom cared a little bit, but she didn't have very much power. Um, I feel you, Wes, but I am too dumb at the moment to build one of those. I see. If people didn't fall for it, they wouldn't keep doing it, and they are getting clever. I see. Oy vey, sex bad. Yeah, no, I think the stigma around sex is really weird. Um, it's very, very odd. But like at the same time, even though I wasn't allowed to consume media with that stuff in it, I would constantly hear my brother and my dad talk about sex. And my brother was like 16, 15 years old at the time. So it was weird because I heard conversations about it very regularly, but I didn't. But I wasn't allowed to consume media that had suggested it or had it in it. It was weird. Slave morality. Nietzsche is cringe, dude. Nietzsche is a cringe right-wing libertarian, bro. Come on, come on. Hegel is way better. Read Hegel. Don't buy into Nietzsche's slave morality bullshit. Read Hegel instead. When you needed ID to buy Modern Warfare 2 on Xbox, real Zoomer mindset. Yes. There are people that fall for them, but it's not boomers. It's really old people. Nietzsche is right wing. Oh no, you're one of these people. Okay, never mind. But there are people that fall for them, but it's not. Let's see. Nietzsche turned my previous love interest into a terrible person. R.I.P. Netshi. I like how he said Netshi. Read the Church Fathers. Hegel, big cringe. Hegel is not cringe. Fuck off, mate. Fuck off. um, he's like the only good philosopher besides Camus. Was Marx a philosopher? I feel like he was more of an economic guy. Oof. Mark Fisher's good. Okay, maybe there's a few good philosophers. How do you feel about Schopenhauer? I like Schopenhauer. Schopenhauer's cool. Hegel and Nietzsche are both cringe, you goddamn idealist. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Is that I'm more of like a I believe more of like the Descartes kind of idealistic thing than you. You're more of like a hardcore materialist person. Yeah, no, I'm more of a Hegelian than I am a materialist. Over time I've become much more Hegelian than materialist. I like Foucault. Foucault is cool. Hegel is still making Catholics seethe. Um, I'm always amazed by parents who are liberal about video games. A kid from school got a PS3 with Demon Souls for his 7th birthday, and he didn't even ask for it. Nice. Schopenhauer is peak cringe. I disagree. Schopenhauer was just real sad. Yeah, no, but like when he talks about like the idea of mastering your own brain in the sort of like the Buddhist sense, and the idea of like aesthetics being a means by which life can have more meaning and stuff. I thought that stuff was really cool. I related to it a lot because there's a time when like aesthetics were like the only thing that brought me happiness. Still, primarily, they are the thing that drives me forward, is just aesthetics. And I'm talking visuals here, not any other sort of subversion of the word. I'm using it in the way that Schopenhauer used it. But let's see. It's pretty hilarious lefties misinterpret Nietzsche as pro-hedonism and anarchy. Yeah, 100%. He was like a weird traditionalist guy. He, believed that like women shouldn't be allowed to vote because that's slave morality and these kind of things. He was definitely not for anarchy. Um, my parents never let me get games until high school. I could only get them through Steam since they wouldn't check the ratings. Um, yeah, no, I started really heavily playing M-rated games when I was like 8 years old. And I think most people in the US are like that. Uh, Schopenhauer was the first consumer. I don't understand what this meme is of spelling consumer wrong. Schopenhauer was anti-consumerism baka. He advocated not reading for fuck's sake. Yes. I remember when I used to read the three letters FFS as just Fs. I just said Fs. When people would tell me, Star, why are you reading it that way on the stream? It's for fuck's sake. And I only learned what that meant late last year. I've always just read it as Fs. So in text chats, I would start writing Fs, like in two Fs and then an S in the chat, and I just never knew what it meant. I just guessed based on context that it meant something bad or something, you know? Retard can't tell when I can't even read this, man. Consumer is meant to be an Oomer Wojak. A Boomer Wojak? A Coomer Wojak? What is an I don't think Oomer is a thing. The M-rated ones are the best. Usually they are the best games. It depends. I mean I like wait, Oomer posting. I don't know what you're on about, Dadgun. I can never tell what you're saying is sincere or not because it's like you make so many jokes that your opinions I can't tell because a lot of your opinions sound like jokes, but then you make jokes that aren't your opinions, and so it's difficult. It's difficult for me to tell what you're on about most of the time. Let's see. Consumer is a Wojak character. He looks like a soy boy and is a parody of the average Marvel Star Wars fan. Oh, okay. Um, all Umer memes are R9K cringe, to be honest. I agree. I kind of liked the Doomer meme for a while, and I sort of see myself as a Doomer, but I still think they're pretty cringy despite that. Flitzpipe, how did you come to that conclusion? One of his main points is to keep the will at bay. Oh, interesting. They need to come out with better memes. Most of the memes that have been coming out are pretty bad. Uh, let's see. Because he liked art, I was just joking. Sorry. Okay. There doesn't need to be a consumer meme because consumer is already a real word that describes what the meme is getting at. I agree. I think the reason why they're spelling the word wrong is in order to. It's working. Yes, it's working now. But yeah, I think the reason they do it is to make it more identifiable that it's a different thing. But I don't think you should have to misspell words in order to put a certain connotation with the meme. Like if you want it to be unique and identifiable, all you have to do is make a unique and identifiable meme. Like the word consumer already represents the idea, and so the idea of spelling it wrong just to make it more clear that it's a joke is a little weird to me. Or maybe it's for text chat. Like maybe in text chat, people just immediately want to know what you're talking about, that you're like referring to that meme, and so that's why it's spelled that way. Um, because if you just say consumer, you could mean all kinds of consumers, you know, and the context could be muddled in text. I think maybe that's how these things come about. I have to go, see you later. All memes are bad, and they always were bad. I mean, obviously, I disagree with that. Everything is a meme. It's just an idea that spreads and becomes, you know, becomes different with each use. It's like a big game of Chinese whispers. Stop identifying with defeatism. Cur by your realism. What, I don't know what you're on about, mate. Um, Critique of Pure Reasons to Coombe by Kant. I need to read more Kant. It's reading Kant is really hard. I'm gonna leave as well later. See you later, DCD. The Nut and Its Own by Stirner. That's fun. But the consumer is referring to a specific type of consumer, and the ooh comes from coomer, and cooming just sounds funny. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, I can sort of understand it. Um, but yeah, critique of reasons to coom. The future of humor is literary shitposting. Yes, fair enough. Images you shouldn't coom to. New York bestseller. New York Times bestseller, I think is what you meant to say. Um, how does consumerism differ from regular consumerism? It doesn't. Um, it's referring to a type of consumer, again, is what I was trying to say. But yeah, it's weird because I can understand both sides of the argument, and I don't really know who I agree with, because like it's you know it's on the free market of ideas over here. We're getting two sides together for a debate. You know, it's always nice being able to listen to two sides on the free market of ideas. But I don't really know who I agree with. I kind of agree with both people. Uh, it it's meme to speak, make better propaganda. Yes. You are not immune to propaganda. You're going to be 18 before elections. Gotta vote for the burn. Yes, gotta vote for the burn. Or bust. Bernie or bust. 100%. The Kentucky Democratic primary is in May. I think I'm going to have time to vote. I think I'm going to have time to vote by that point. Um, or time to register to vote, I mean. I turn 18 on April the 20th. And yeah, I'm definitely gonna vote for Bernie. What I wanna do is vote for Tulsi, you imperialist. She is an imperialist. She didn't support the Iran nuclear deal when it was coming about. She has big support for Israel. She didn't support BDS, and I mean Bernie didn't support BDS either. But like, there's a lot of things about Tulsi that are really bad. But let's see what was I going on about? And plus, that would just be a wasted vote. But yeah, no, I wanna start volunteering for Bernie, like phone banking and stuff. And so I've been trying to learn how to get into the process of doing that. But you know, even just phone banking, it makes a huge difference. You know, people really got to get out there on the ground. Um, Votes can be wasted. Um, I don't think being a voter. How much did he give for your endorsement? I'm considering shilling for Bloomberg if he gives enough shekels. Yes. I do it for free. The idea of someone buying the presidency is pretty Chad, so he's won my vote. Oh no. Oh no, the Instagram memes worked. Uh yeah, but uh but yeah, but I'm Bernie or Bust gang over here. I will not vote. in the general, especially if they do that any blue no matter who stuff again, if he doesn't win the primary, I'm just not going to vote. And I think it's pretty powerful when you have an entire block of people who support one candidate who are just going to refuse to vote if their candidate doesn't get up there. I mean, the Democrats don't care about winning, but like it we need to assert as much power as we can, withholding your vote instead of voting third party. I mean, if I'm out that day, I'll vote for like the Green Party or whatever. But it's not going to do anything. Vote for collapse. Yes. Uh, but let's see. If Bloomberg wins, it will cause libs to lose faith in democracy. Yeah, same. Um, the voter, why are you spelling voter wrong now? Would be a person who buys all type of candidate merchandise and then votes a candidate who doesn't have a chance in his state. I see. Ma accelerationism. I don't even know what accelerationism is. I tried reading Nick Land, and Nick Land is just so incomprehensible that I just don't understand it. I feel like I'm just not going to be able to understand it. Um, Accelerationism seems like a silly idea anyway. Like, if you're so caught up in your own postmodernist word salad, at that point, the ideas don't really have any applicability until someone is able to make it more simple. Uh, uh, what time is it? Imagine every vote counting. Pff, Americans. Damn. I mean, I'm pretty pessimistic about the electoral process as a whole after what happened in Iowa. And I mean, they cheated in 2016 too, but like it we need to try so hard that they can't cheat. Like we need to get Bernie doing so well that that they we got to do something, man. You can't give up hope just yet. Just the right slash white votes, yes. Nick Land wears coding socks and buys hookers. Hedonistic Chad. I don't believe that he. I know. Like, for a moment I thought you were being sincere there, but now I realize it's a joke. But like, I don't know. Like, all I know about Nick Land is that he doesn't he doesn't write as coherently anymore, and that he just does a lot of crack. He became a big crackhead. Don't do crack, seriously. If you or else you become Nick Land, the depressing 2020s version. Um, Everything I don't like is postmodernism. I didn't say that. I just said that the way that a lot of postmodernist writers write is in this very word salad kind of way, where they're just sort of trying to make philosophy and argue for things that like most of what philosophy is just arguing on and on forever about stuff that can't really be proven, and so it's just endless debate. And with postmodernists specifically, reading them, the problem I have with reading them is that a lot of the stuff that they're saying is so wrapped up in its own internal dialogue and the words that exist in that space that a lot of it just comes off as word salad. Nick Land is one of the defining postmodernists, dadgun. Yeah, wasn't he into postmodernism? Oh, good. I'm gonna vote. Ah, votes Biden. Okay. Um, what is postmodernism? I remember Jay Peterson talking about it while shooting up heroin. Now that's based. Read Derrida, Tramp. Yeah, Derrida's pretty good. I like Derrida. Um, he is difficult to read though. Isn't crack just smokable cocaine? Yes. Yeah, it is. But the thing about cocaine is that what it does is that it basically, like, there's a part of your brain that every time you use cocaine, it's degrading that part of your brain permanently. It's the part that's associated with self-control and being able to, to like do things properly and stuff. And it's essentially breaking down that part of your brain the more that you use it. And so I'm an advocate against using coke, but crack specifically is a very trashy type of coke. Like it's more trashy. It's more impure, and there's a lot of things there. Um, but yeah, YWN shoot up Peterson in his minimalist Marxist decor house. But so essentially, what postmodernism is to speak broadly, because it's a very broad movement. A lot of the people who were considered to be the founding postmodernist figures did not call themselves that. A lot of people who, are considered to be pillars of the movement now don't call themselves that. Um, but the postmodernism is essentially anything that critiques modernism and tries to get beyond it. That's a very simple, like layman definition. But it's a really, really broad movement because of that. And there's a lot of different thinkers involved. I would recommend watching like Cuck Philosophy. He has a FAQ on his channel where it's the postmodernist Q&A questions thing, and that's a good place to start out because he mentions a lot of core concepts in that series. Or just ask no thank you because he's really into it. Um, let's see. Crack isn't as much of an upper as my one black friend says. Ain't no N-word. Want to stay up all night? Yes. Um, I'm going to vote Biden just so we can have the most senile debates ever. Trump versus Biden. Chris Matthews moderates. Book it, Vince. Yes. It would be very funny. Ain't no me. I ain't no goddamn son of a bitch. You should check out Arnold Gellin, I think is how you say that. ACX is more meta-modernist. I see. I want Buttigieg to get the nomination so Trump can make a sly remark in the debate about him being gay. That would be funny. He would have to like imply it in some sort of sense. A Vermin Supreme 2024. I agree. Ain't no grammar. Um, it's 126 now. It's 126. When did the mail guy get here yet? No me. No me. I don't think the mail person. When's the mail getting here, man? When is it doing? I don't think it's getting here. Trump will just call Buttigieg a rat and get called an anti-Semite as a rebuttal. Yes. Yes. Despite the fact that Buttigieg is not Jewish. Um, Elect Coco the singing gorilla. Yes, I agree. I think the world would be so much better of a place if a gorilla was running the country. Fuck, fuck the male. Where's the female? R.I.P. R.I.P. to Coco. Dick Butt 2020. I don't know what you're on about, mate. How come some of the quotes you're reading off the chat aren't showing up in the live chat? Do you have the top chat on or the live chat on? I have the live chat on. Obama was already president, though. Damn. Um, yeah, I'm gonna wait like 5 more minutes and then I'm gonna check the mailbox. I didn't hear the mail lady coming up, but sometimes they don't drive the car up to the house. Sometimes they walk up to the house, and so maybe the mailman came just now. Maybe, I don't know. 22 people are watching. Jeez. D's Knits is gonna make a 2020 comeback. I really doubt it. It doesn't seem. I haven't heard that in forever. Okay, I'm goodbye now. Goodbye, no thank you. Bye bye. Uh, where is the mail? Bert. Hello, Bert. What are you on about? Kanzi the bonobo Kanzi the bonobo could run. He's 39 and born in Georgia, so he'd be eligible. Nothing in the Constitution says the president of the U.S. has to be human. Yeah. It would be really cool. It would be really cool if something like that happened. Like it would be a better scenario than any other president. Unironically, no joke. Um, and bonobos specifically are really cool because they don't have wars. And so with gorillas and these other primates, they have wars, but bonobos they don't have big wars. So they're like more peaceful than humans are. If I'm getting my facts straight there. Uh, Remember when Kanye West told the world he's going to run for president in 2020? He would win. Is open borders bad for middle class workers? Well, open borders is a libertarian idea. Ronald Reagan was for it. I believe, don't quote me on this, but I think Milton Friedman was as well. It is a right wing idea, but it's not like a paleo conservative idea. Like the paleo conservative people are against open borders because they're nationalists and they're populists and stuff. But like the libertarian right wing are really into open borders. And I think that's all you need to know. It's not good. Open borders is a very bad thing. Open borders is class warfare. Uh, when we get genetically engineered cat girls, we need to elect one as president. Yes. Under the Kanzi the Bonobo administration, Greta Thunberg would be vice president. That would be cool. Let's see. Uh, yeah, no, I don't know when I'll be your genetically engineered cat girl. What is a paleo conservative? Uh, let's see. How do I explain this? Like, it's basically what Tucker Carlson is. It's that guy. That's a paleo conservative. Um, but yeah, I don't really know how to explain it. There's a like Pat Buchanan would be like a good example of one if you know who that is. The guy who originally wanted to build a border wall. Yeah, that was not Trump's idea. That was Pat Buchanan's idea. Um, he called for that in like the year 2000 when he ran on the Reform Party's ticket. I think it was the Reform Party. It might have been a different one. Build the wall. Uh, Thunberg is neither American born nor 35. The BP has the same prerequisites as the POTUS since they can become the POTUS if they croak. Yeah, that is true. I think he's just memeing about over here. Um, yeah, Pat Buchanan 2020. Build that wall. Here we go. I don't even know if he's still alive. Uh, let's see. But Star knows Pat Buchanan. AO base check. I know all of these people, man. I've spent way too much time reading these things. Build the wall so we can put the booge against it. Yes. Pat Buchanan isn't obscure. I don't think he's obscure. He's obscure to like normal people though, or people on the internet who aren't normal but just don't care about politics. But if you care about politics, I don't think he's obscure. Let's see here. He ran for president multiple times and did quite recently, and did quite decently. Yes. I can't be bothered to care about what happens in the world. That's probably a good thing, because ultimately there's not really much you can do. Like the only chance we have to make anything even slightly better is getting Bernie elected. That's the only thing we can do. Beyond that, there's basically nothing. And I don't think people should try. I don't think people should care. The only reason I care even a little bit is because I want Bernie to become the president. That's it. Beyond that, I would still have the same points of view that I do, because ultimately reading about this stuff is a hobby. But it's one of those things that like the less that you care about it, the better your mental state is going to be, because once you start really getting into this stuff, you realize that the world is, basically fucked. Um, the only class capable of revolution is genetically engineered cat girls who are exploited by the sex industry. I don't know about that, mate, but that would be pretty cool. I bit my finger and accidentally smeared some blood on my pants. Don't do that. Don't be more careful. Uh, but yeah, let's see, what is it? The time is 3:33. If the mail lady's not here yet, I don't know what she's on about. Maybe sometimes she gets here at like 3 o'clock. Post. I I am going to crack a whip at every single government worker who works for the post office every day now. They're taking too slow. Let's see here. Okay, I'll come back soon. I'll be right back. Hey, come here, puppy. You want to eat food? No mail. No mail. I don't think it's getting here today. Either that or it's getting here really late. Another day, another dollar. Okay, let's see. Um, it's not it's hard not to I bite. Why would you have the impulse to bite? Like in theorize like why do you think you do it? What gives you the impulse? I know impulses can often be difficult to break. Um, my fingers are almost certainly bleeding because I'm a chronic nail biter, but what causes that? That's very strange. Whip crack, yes. An nya ro an nya roko syndicalidum. I don't know what you're on about. Too many nibble. I try not to let them go too chewed up, but it's hard. And before the package got seized, most likely. Privatize the mail service so I can order stuff with no fear. Yeah, I'm getting there, buddy. I'm almost there. Um, yeah, in before the package got seized. R.I.P. Man, R.I.P. They're probably taking longer. Um, let's see. Have you heard of Pegida? They are a German alt-right slash populist movement and went through the international news a couple years back. Anyway, they have a special meetup today, and I'm scared this Bjorn Hayuk guy is going to say some right-wing shit and everyone in Germany will go crazy, talk about nothing else, and all the other political topics will be left behind again. Yeah, I mean, it is scary stuff, some of the power that these guys have, but at the same time, the media props them up actively. The media is actively propping these guys up by writing scare stories. So on the one hand, it is important to talk about because, you don't want them to gain momentum, but on the other hand, you're also platforming and advertising their ideas. So the solution to that, I don't really know. Um, Arrest that faceless fuck Carla Nash. Travis did nothing wrong. I don't know the reference. I get distracted and bite nails, but sometimes skin sort of splits and I bite off part, but sometimes too much. That doesn't sound fun at all. Um, yeah, I would look in talking to like a therapist or someone like that, trying to help fix that. Um, the human genome has been quietly accumulating mutations and defects for a millennia. Designer babies are bad socioeconomically and ethically, but in the long term, it's humanity's only hope. I'm not like a biology guy, so I don't really know anything about that. Um, but yeah, and he has no sources, but yeah, I don't know anything about that subject. Nail biting gets extreme sometimes. It's weird. I don't understand how designer babies are bad ethically. Like, it's just one person that you're experimenting on. It's not like you're there and you're feeling all of the pain that they're going through or something. It's just one person. If the person dies, they were going to die eventually anyway. Like, the fact that you're bringing a kid into a world at all is immoral in the first place. That's a bad thing. If you're bringing someone into the world, that's wrong. But if you're experimenting on them as they're being brought into the world, how is that any more immoral? How is that any more immoral than having a kid in the first place? Like, I don't know. It's just weird. Let's turn people into furries. That'd be funny. I don't mean to make it out that it is. I see. Much racism. Designer babies are based. I don't know if I would go that far. I just think they're interesting. Uh, but there are literally people who think that cat girls will be slaves slash get exploited in extreme ways. I don't know, seems kind of black-pilled, not thinking people would care about that. I don't really see much of a point in thinking about it, because for one, it's not going to happen. But like if it did, like that scenario is just so removed from reality that it's difficult to theorize about it because you can't really theorize about something that's that removed from real life, you know? I mean you could, but like nothing, no theory that you have is going to be correct. I could either be saying this ironically or post-ironic, who knows? I don't even know myself. That is the Zoomer issue, Gen Z, irony. Irony Irony is just a tool to make people, you know, I don't know. It's irony seems a bit. I used to think it was dangerous, um, but I've started. Yeah, I maybe I was entrapped by the system or something. Who knows? Just forcefully turn everyone into a cat girl, problem solved. I mean, it would be preferable. If everyone was turned into a woman, they wouldn't have kids anymore. You don't have to commit genocide to solve overpopulation. Just randomly select 1 million people who are allowed to produce, and then when everyone dies, we start anew. Interesting. Star, cat boys or cat girls? Well, obviously cat boys. Um, but yeah, I mean, like, I would be down with committing genocide in order to curb overpopulation, just not like, just don't single out certain races. That's my view. Um, and also there I think there should be a very strong one child policy. You know, there should also the surviving humans have to live in Africa. Man doesn't belong in other continents. Africa's too damn hot. Too damn hot. Um but yeah, what was I gonna say? There was a point. Oh, no, I'm trying to remember. It was about oh yeah, yeah. So have I made this argument in another video? I don't remember. It was about like the reason why I support trans kids, for example, is not because I think that the kids are necessarily even trans. It's because when they get on hormone therapy, they're unable to have kids later on. So like if they have their testosterone blocked as a child and then they get on hormone therapy after that, they never had male puberty, meaning that they're unable to reproduce, which is a great thing. I have zero empathy for how much that person suffers as an individual as a result of being raised that way. As long as they reproduce less, as long as they don't reproduce, they could suffer as much as to their heart's content, making the wrong decision when they're young. What ultimately matters to me is less children being produced. And so that like the reason I support trans kids is super unorthodox because the left would make the argument that all of their feelings are valid or whatever, which is not true. You a lot of kids feel ways about things that they completely change the way that they feel about later on. So like believing that all of them are just valid or just men trapped in women's bodies at that young age, it's not true. It's just not true. Like a lot of people do regret the surgeries and the hormone therapy that they get, um because they had a feeling that turned out to just be wrong. And that is the thing that happens. So like, but I just don't care. I just don't care about any of those people's individual lives. I just want them to reproduce less. Um, you just swayed me on the trans question. Free sex changes and abortions for all. 100% encouraged abortion. What we need to be aborting people with genetic defects like Down syndrome and these kind of things, and we need to be encouraging abortions for everybody else. Um, I used to be hardcore eugenics gang, and honestly, I'm starting to fall back into that. Eugenics is not that bad of a thing. Like, Maybe I'm gonna get creamed for saying this, but eugenics is not that bad. A crypto fascist. Yeah, no, maybe I am a crypto fascist. Who knows? Um, uh, but like in Iceland, for example, they sterilize kids who have Down syndrome. Like, how is that a bad thing? If you're sterilizing people with genetically inheritable defects, they're not going to give those defects to their offspring. And so you have a better and healthier population as a result of doing that. Like to me, that just seems like the logical answer to go to, and it has for a very, very long time. But it's not really something that you're allowed to say. I mean, do Down syndrome people get laid anyway? I think some of them do. Um, like, like this is an anecdotal example, of course, but I remember is that when my dad was in his 20s, he had told me this story is that he had fucked this Down syndrome girl, and he wasn't sure if she had gotten pregnant or not. But and he said it was really gross. The experience of doing it was really gross because she was just weird. Um, but uh, but yeah, there are Down syndrome people who do fuck. I'd say if the doctors know what they're doing, trans misdiagnosis doesn't happen much. I agree. The problem is that when someone is so young, the feeling could change. And there have been cases of that happening. So, let's see. Wait, Down syndrome people have kids? Yes. Eco Nosbol. Yes. I'm not going to have kids because my entire family is short. Oof. Oof. Uh, we're watching Bob Ross now. Am I gonna get copyright claim for watching Bob Ross? I've been watching Bob Ross for a little bit here. I love this guy. I don't know if I'm gonna get copyright claimed for it though. I don't want to get copyright claimed again. I don't want to make a strong opinion without statistic proof. I know how that feels. I don't like doing that most of the time either. Um, Besides my dad, I'm the tallest person in my family, and I'm still half a head shorter than all my friends who are even younger than me, and I'm 16. Yeah, you look really small in the pictures of you that you had sent to me. I thought you were like 13 or 14. Dude, Bob Ross is so cool. I wanna be like Bob Ross when I grow up. Like Bob Ross and Mr. Rogers, I may sound like a really edgy, cynical pessimist, but there's a part of me where those two guys are like my idols. Like I love Bob Ross and Mr. Rogers. Maybe it's just because I grew up with them. Um, I grew up watching a lot of PBS, but they're just such great people. I don't know any other way to put it. Um, TFW, you watched Bob Ross during really stressful times for relief. Now he just brings back bad memories. RIP. 50 years copyright should expire after 50 years. Oh, okay. Psychiatrists know what they're doing. A lot of the time they don't know what they're doing. Um, yeah, no, there's a reason psychology is called a soft science is because like this the social sciences, the thing is that a lot of them are based around assuming that what the person on the other side is telling you is true. Like you only can confirm your own thoughts. You can't confirm the thoughts and feelings of other people. And so it's really, really tricky sometimes because you have to spend a lot of time with someone, and ultimately you're only getting their perspective, which can be muddled by a number of things. And so it's not really as empirical as like neuroscience, for example, which analyzes the brain and is used for a specific purpose. Psychology is very much it's not just a new thing. It doesn't have nearly as much basis as actual sciences do, like of physics, biology, chemistry, neuroscience, these kind of things. So I think that's something people should keep in mind. Um, let's see. Read Foucault? Yeah, no, I've read Foucault. I like Foucault. Um, let's see. Holy shit, I've been writing the same message for 7 times and YouTube removes it every time. RIP. Okay, Scientologist. All right. I love the video of Mr. Rogers and Coco together. Let's see if I can pull that video up. Let's see if I can pull it up now. An edgy, cynical nihilist, but she's kind of different and quirky. Who? Who? I don't know who you're referring to. Um, The only way I would have any children would be if humans and Bigfoot could be interbred. There are too many humans, but not enough Bigfoot. This is a conservation of effort, not out of sexual attraction. This is as a conservation effort. Yeah, that would be really cool. It would be really cool if something like that could occur, but I don't think Bigfoot is out there, unfortunately. Star, you wacky? I am 100% wacky and proud of it. There is a famous guy in Germany who pretended to be a psychiatrist for years and no one noticed. That does not even remotely surprise me. Copyright isn't real. It is not real. Let's invent a new J-Reg style wacky ideology. I can't think of one. Yo, Star. Hello, Alexander. Hello, Brazil. 200 characters is not enough to convince you of Bigfoot. Oh, I didn't know you were like a Bigfoot truther person. Schizophrenic realist. That would be pretty cool as an ideology. But yeah, no, if you want to explain me like any of your theories on Bigfoot or something on Discord, you could send me like a big message explaining it. Um, but trust me, they're out there. Yeah, it was. I mean, I don't know enough about it. I could be totally wrong. Um, I haven't researched Bigfoot or anything like that. But yeah, feel free to explain it to me sometime. But let me find this Mr. Rogers video. Mr. Rogers. Uh, let's see here. Let's see if it comes up. Here it is. Okay, Mr. Rogers meets Coco the gorilla. It's her favorite celebrity. Let's see. Um, have you seen the week of Mr. Rogers where he talked about divorce? Scary stuff. I think I remember watching that when I was a kid. Let's see if the volume working? Oh, I have the volume muted.
What does this mean? This is the greeting. This is what you've maybe been eating. This is a greeting. Real life, yeah.
Yes.
Who are you?
Oh.
Like who? Is that lovely? Like who? Who?
Oh. That's so cute.
Hey, that's a happy sound. Is it? That's a purr. Oh, like that? Can you teach me how to do that?
Oh. That's so cute.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Coco. Happy birthday to you.
Oh.
More. You can do it. Here, do it. Go ahead. Good job. All right.
Oh, that's so cute.
Here you go.
And he actually ate the cake. Oh, it's so cute. Yeah, okay. I just had to watch that real quick. Um, my college classes come back today. Gonna leave soon. Okay, see you later, friend. Silly Douglas, how about neat fascism? I don't think there could be neats in fascism. Globalized Vic fetish ecofascism. Not all soft sciences are psychology, economics, political science, etc. are way more credible. Don't be one of those STEM good Redditors, matey. Um, I'm not saying there aren't aspects of them that are credible. I'm just saying that we shouldn't be considering them on the same level as hard sciences. And especially because so much of psychology is about socially constructed and socially defined things, where the goal of psychology primarily is in order to make you conform into society. They recognize societal problems that, whether it be depression, bipolar, etc., and they see those things as keeping you from being able to function in the society that you exist in. And so we create these little boxes to put people in, not because they may be genuine problems, but because they're considered to be behavioral issues in the context of how to make people work. And that I consider to be problematic in and of itself. Eugenics plus biotranshumanism. I don't know what biotranshumanism is. Neoliberalism. Now that's what I call a wacky one ideology. Um, he talks about that. Uh, the wacky part is it's really just veiled furryism. I don't know what you're on about, mate. it is impossible to quantify how much darker the world has become without cocoa. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to quantify it. But yeah, they were good. Good, good. Uh this one there's this one right here. Coco liked cats. They liked cats quite a bit. This so cute. This is what I do with my free time. Oh. Oh. That's so cute.
Coco knows. She picked the one I think sweet.
I don't like the blaring music that they put over these videos. Oh. Oh.
Hi, sweet one. Oh, you're the sweet one. Yes. You're all done. So done. Okay, guys.
This is adorable.
So you got a good one. There you go. You're good. Yes. Very nice. Good job. They're both doing a really good job.
Amazing. 10 out of 10. Yes. Okay. Uh,
Oh, put on your head. Oh, run. That's me to put the kitty on her head. Yes, that's what you
bye,
want.
Star. I have to eat dinner now. See you later. This is cute. Yes. Okay. Sorry about that. I just had to look at another one. There's a kitty cat. Okay, there's still more. Um, but yeah, I think that this is easier to talk over though. It isn't. Wait, I already read that. Noam Chomsky's repetition of CIA talking points about the USSR angers me, but my homicidal rage is more fueled by his denial of Coco the gorilla's linguistic capabilities. Yeah, I can imagine. Like the thing with Noam Chomsky is that he was literally paid for by the CIA to write for the Partisan Review magazine, is because the Partisan Review magazine was in linked with the Council on Foreign Relations and the Congress for Cultural Freedom. And so Partisan Review was made to get Trotskyists and anarchists and social democrats and these other flavors of left wing in order to talk about left wing ideas and subvert Marxism in a way that would go against the socialist countries that existed at the time. And so they had every motivation to lie in the pieces that they wrote for Partisan Review because it was a CIA project, and the fact that Noam Chomsky would be able to write for a magazine like that, I think it shows there's a link there. There's a link there, um, where like they the reason why the CIA promotes these other sort of brands of leftism, especially back then, wasn't because they wanted, a left-wing revolution or whatever to happen. It was because they wanted to divide the left against countries that were actually doing things. And so it was a big problem. Um, let's see here. Uh, the global democratic global fetish government where we vote every 4 years on legatos and forced fetish sex instead of lying bureaucrats. I see. Source this. What, Partisan Review? I mean, you could just look it up, mate. I mean, the CIA on their own website, dude, on their own website, they brag about using the Congress for Cultural Freedom in order to subvert left-wing movements. Like they say it. Don't take my word for it. Take the CIA's own website. Um, but just look up Congress for Cultural Freedom and Partisan Review magazine. It's not that difficult. Um, it's like some of the first results, bro. Hard and soft sciences are incomparable. Subjective soft sciences exist because almost everything that governs people's lives is subjective, particularly economics. I think economics is definitely more objective than like psychology, though. Um, I don't really know what you mean by that. I love this I need a source culture as if search engines don't exist. Yeah, exactly. Um, you are the epitome of the Dunning-Krugerite. I don't think that makes sense because again, it is the CIA's own website where they say verbatim that they use the Congress for Cultural Freedom in order to infiltrate left-wing movements. It's not that hard. It's not that hard, mate. uh, Psychology is totally different, is in a totally different sphere than social science, etc. Do you mean it's in a different sphere of the social sciences? Search engines are not a source, links are. Do you do you know how easy it is to find the things I'm telling you to find, man? I I'm not even logged into my YouTube account on my computer. Fuck off and just look it up. It's not that difficult. You're intentionally trying to annoy me. Um, but yeah, it's, but yeah, what was I talking about? Um, but yeah, people are weird. I think linguistics is cool. We were talking about Noam Chomsky. Linguistics is cool. I want to learn more about how linguistics works and sort of the history of it, because just listening to lectures from like George Lakoff and Chomsky, that's not very good linguistic exposure. I want to do like an actual deep dive on linguistics at some point because I think it's pretty cool. uh, but yeah, the weird times we live in. There is a way to study psychology exclusively on hard scientific principle, but the psychological establishment prioritizes social science more. Yeah, I know like when studying the brain and stuff, there's much more of an empirical basis for that. But I don't know enough about psychology to make any cohesive statements on the specifics. Um, Google it. It is literally how to censor and bias your results. You can't say just Google it as if your citation obviously comes up. Search engines are not a proper citation. I'm telling you, dude, I am telling you. Look. I Googled the same thing. And the first no, the second result for the Congress for Cultural Freedom is the CIA's website that I told you to look at. Like I don't understand. I don't understand how difficult that is to understand. It you're what you're doing is applying a logic that obviously does not apply to what I'm saying. I'm saying it is extremely fucking easy to find the sources that I told you to find. It is that simple. I use DuckDuckGo. Thank you very much. Um, it is everything anyone ever says or writes at you is trying to convince you something, and you gotta be vigilant. You can't be too credulous. I see. Yeah, I mean, everyone has their own bias coming into anything they say. Um, uh, but you have to recognize them when you're writing. Like when you're writing, you have the foresight to be able to look back on the things that you wrote. Triggered snowflake. It's not. I hate this idea that everyone who yells is just automatically triggered. I think that there are times when yelling is necessary. Sometimes people just need to be yelled at when they're being stupid. Um, I am an advocate for yelling at times. My goal in life is to be as little wrong as possible. How do you define something like that though? Like where do you begin? You have to you have to be able to find a place to begin and then work up from there. But it takes really really long because there's just so many things in the world and there's so much information pertaining to them. Like my problem is that when I answer one question, it inevitably leads to other questions that are related to other things. And there's just so many questions and you have to find as much information as possible. um but man, you hate people, lmao. I do hate people. I mean, I literally was advocating for genocide earlier. um but I won't take anything Big Poppy takes seriously until he learns how to play first base without being a defensive liability. No wonder you failed writing in school, LMAO. I don't understand what you're on about. Like English was always one of my best classes. I never failed English. English was always the class that I had the least likelihood of failing. Um, but uh, Google on metadata. Uh, I, dude, I am saying that the CIA themselves, I am saying that the CIA themselves had said the things that I said. It is that simple. Google is going to prioritize metadata about the CIA by giving you the CIA's website that admits the things that I said that they admitted to. How difficult is that for you to understand? I do not know how much more simple I have to make the words that I'm saying. Uh, where? I see. You did provide a source for the CIA thing, but you paraphrased it. The page said something like, "It has been argued that the things you said." I see. I mean, imagine being so bad at playing the field that you can be on the same team as Manny Ramirez without him being the DH. Edgar Martinez was a better DH than Poppy anyway. Yes, you gave a source, but not a good one. Um, I mean that's your belief. If you can find the CIA outright confirming your belief, that is a good source. It depends on what in particular, because in that source they admit to subverting left wing movements. If you want a source on the Partisan Review, the CIA website isn't a good source about what the CIA does. Yes. At monkeys, why are you angry? um, but do you hate all people except for yourself? I think I hate most people except for myself. Not all. Turn up to stream, and the first thing I hear is I was literally advocating for genocide earlier. Nice. uh, but but yeah, it's. Let me find. I can find the thing about the Partisan Review. I was connecting back to it. Um, but yeah, the world's a weird place. Intelligence agencies lie. Dude, do you think why would they lie about something that makes them look bad? Why would they lie about something that they're actively not supposed to be doing? Sources are necessary, but for them to be valid, everyone has to agree that they are saying what the person providing them says that they are. Uh, let's see. Um, let's see, where is it the Journal of American History that I'm looking for? Let's see here. I think this one's the right one. Uh, this is the epitome of wed suits. I'm not angry at Big Poppy. I'm just saying the red suits would have found 5 championships if you could field your damn position and play the sympathy about getting shot. Lots of people get shot. Yes. Um, is it America's Secret Weapon Cultural Cold War? I think this one's it. On the New York Times on the web. Let's see. Yeah, it was written by Joseph Joff. Uh, where? Let's see, there's this one. Red Sooks. Cringe chat. I don't know what anyone is on about. Let's see here. I'm trying to find the book. Did I say red sooks instead of red socks? But but yeah, do your own research until I can find all of the sources that I was looking for. I don't know why I'm trying to prove anything to you, but yeah, people are weird. I mean, if you know anything about if you know anything about Operation Mockingbird, that 30-year-old Red Suker. From Wikipedia in before anyone can edit. Partisan Review received covert funding from the Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, during the 1950s and 60s as part of the agency's effort to shape intellectual opinion during the Cold War. Yeah, LMAO just realized you were talking about David Ortiz. Yes. Um, I just didn't want to source Wikipedia. I was trying to find the book. I was trying to find a book and a few articles that were more empirical in order to source them. But yeah, Wikipedia is fine in this case, I guess. I don't care. What is the citation on Wikipedia? Look yourself, faggot. Like I don't I really do hate people. I hate everyone. You know, I don't like saying that I hate I hate even the people who watch my channel, but I hate a lot of the people who watch my channel too. I'm being I wish that this is why I say to people to unsubscribe constantly, is that I wish people would just leave me the fuck alone most of the time. I just hate people. I just hate them. Like, all of them. I want all of them to die. If there could be a world where we could just kill off like 99% of the humans that lived on Earth, I would immediately press that button. Immediately I would press that button. Um uh Wikipedia has sources for a reason. Plenty of them are miscited anyway. Yeah, no, I agree. Like Wikipedia has cited like the Black Book of Communism and stuff. Like the Wikipedia cites a lot of things that like the people who made the people who made the thing a lot of the time denounce their own research, and then Wikipedia will cite it anyway. You gotta learn how to do this shit if you want to be taken seriously. I already know how to do this shit. Like, it's not because I don't know how to do it. I just think that you're retarded. If you're trying to teach me a lesson, fuck you. Kill yourself. It's not that I don't know how to do it. I just do not like you. But what was I talking about? Oh God, we broke his facade. Yes, I love you, Star. I appreciate it. Um, but yeah, I just hate people. I just hate people. I wish people would just kill themselves. Like, if everyone on Earth could just kill themselves, I would want them to do it. Stop telling me to be better at research. It was never a problem with me not being good at research. I was always right. The problem with you was that you refused to look at the things that were very clearly there in some of the first results. I didn't source Wikipedia because I think it's the end all be all. I'm just saying that this isn't some crazy left wing conspiracy theory. Yeah, like, Wikipedia is a mainstream source. Wikipedia is a mainstream source. It can you can very easily you can very easily find all kinds of lies and propaganda on there. I feel like you watch Digibro Star. Well, that is true. Uh, boy. Oh boy. Yeah, I'm getting worked up over here. This is fun. Star goes full Digibro egotist. Yes, I'm clearly I'm already there. But no, I appreciate the time that you spend listening to me, Dad Gun. Uh, nice analysis, bro. Uh, uh, yeah, humanity has declined. Actually, he identifies as an egoist. Yes, I am an egoist. Uh, I appreciate you remembering that. But yeah. Actually, I love that meme. I love that meme so much. Because I immediately imagine like the type of person who plays WoW when I see it. But yeah, I am an egoist. Um, Digibro isn't even that bad as some people say he is. I don't think he's as narcissistic as people say he is. No, he definitely is. Like he has admitted to being a bit of one. So it's about context and shit. I don't know. I read that in an Aaron Kunover voice. Digibro saved my life, star. Hey, don't take my clickbait titles. Don't take my clickbait titles out of context, mate. I refuse. I refuse to be clickbait baited. All right? How are you an egoist and an antinatalist at the same time? Because the idea of bringing people into the world in order for them to suffer makes me upset, and because it makes me upset is because and so because it makes me upset, then it's what is the word? I have a word. I'm losing track of my own thoughts right now. Fuck, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so it's in my self-interest. It's in my self-interest for people to not be born. Um, so if it's in your self-interest and you advocate for doing things in your own self-interest, then that would you can still be an anti-natalist at the same time. Being an egoist does not necessarily mean abandoning all empathy for other people. Oftentimes, empathy can be in our own self-interest. All I know about Digibro is Star's mentions of him, so I just imagine he's this COD dude bro type with a Digimon. But with Digimon, I imagine him as this. Nice. Um, I've become a monarchist. Nice. Hey, I am a huge fan of illustrations of little girls getting fucked. Digibro 2018, so based. That's pretty based. Sterneroids can't realize no man is an island. Um, a lot of people aren't an island, but I do think it is possible to go full hermit. It's really hard, but it is possible. Based, what I don't know what he's on about now. Um, but my argument towards monarchism is that the invention and proliferation of the Korean alphabet. Isn't there a guy in New Mexico who constitutes his own country? There's um there's a guy in Nevada who does that. He believes that he's the president of his own he believes he's the president of this little part of Nevada. Um I am a huge fan of illustrations of little girls getting fucked. Star 2020. Hey now, I don't. Well, I guess now that I read it on live chat, it's gonna sound like I said it. I don't. I'm not a lolicon. Don't. Don't. Let's see. NRX is a neo reaction. I don't know what you guys are on about. Wes, there is nothing wrong about Lolicon. I don't think there's anything wrong about Lolicon because there's no children getting harmed in the process of it being made. But I am not a Lolicon. And personally, I think it's pretty gross. When I look at it, I think it's pretty gross. But what was I on about? I think I was on about something. I forget what it was. That's a phrase I use too much. Technically, little girls getting fucked could refer to adult female midgets getting fucked. That is true. There are adult females who are quite short and look like little girls. They are little in a literal sense. They are little and they're small. Uh, NRX is a bad acronym slash inerealism for neo-reaction, which is a hashtag ideology. It is an ideology. I see. Um, boy, what does this world we live in come to? I feel like if I grew up in Kazakhstan, like in Kazakhstan, people just invite you into your house if you're a stranger to eat food with them. I would be so much happier. I would just be I would just be hanging out. I would just be vibing with people on farms. Man, we gotta go back. We gotta go back. If I could just have a farm and just vibe with people on farms, I don't even care if they're boring. I just want people to leave us the fuck alone. Hermetism is not being an island. You still rely on past experience with others. I mean, in a certain sense, like human beings are always relying on other people because you had to rely on a human being to invent the creation of stuff like the wheel, stuff like a house, stuff like heating. To know how to research how to do things on your own, you had to take the research of other people. To get food from the store, many times that food is made and prepared by other people, or every time, not many times. So unless like if we're taking this to the philosophical extreme, in order to be an island, you have to invent everything yourself. You have to you have to create so no man is literally an island like well, I'm saying literally in a metaphor. God damn it. I hate that I do this. I hate that I use that word to describe metaphors. God damn it. I need to stop doing that. But no, so I'm saying where was I? I was trying to say that people is that like if we take it to the philosophical extreme, you are correct. I'm just saying that most people don't take it that far. I hate nothing more than those 13-year-olds who masturbate to hentai all day and then go insane when people like furry artwork. I agree. Stop being a boo woo woo. Is me pee pee poomer become a species being? I don't know what you're on about, mate. But yeah, people are weird. Um but yeah, no, I really do want to build a farm though. I want to build a farm that just has lots of animals. Alt Masturbate is my favorite news group. I if I those things still exist, right? You can still use Usenet with the news groups and stuff. It's still a thing, I think. I believe it is still a thing. I want to try and get about on one of those, see what people are up to. Um but yeah, doesn't know what species being is. I don't know what that is. They're called Google Groups now, but yes. Okay, cool. Yeah, 'cause I know when my friend Kieran dug up Yanlu's suicide post that he had made, the musician Yanlu, he went to Usenet and he had to find emails that were like really, really old. And he went through like a client that went back as far as like the early 2000s and late 90s and stuff in order to find the archives of these messages where Yanlu had been explained to by a firefighter how to kill himself, I believe is what it was. And these are like real messages that still exist. They're just archived on Usenet, and you just have to have the computer knowledge to be able to find it. And I still have those Yanlu posts on my Google Drive, actually. And it's fascinating to watch. You know, this musician, you get sort of a part of the narrative because he deleted his blog of him talking with people about, about how he was going to go about this. Oh, hey, Zolo PK Flash is here. Hello, Zolo. It's always nice to see you, comrade. Um, uh, I came across a Digibro Monogatari video where he came across very much as the kind of person who can watch something good, understand that it is good, but not be able to consciously understand or articulate why. I think he'd benefit very much from rhetoric or literary analysis courses, but he's so stubborn that he refuses to believe that anyone could know more than him and gets very offended at the idea. I disagree with that, because if you actually watch his videos, he constantly admits that other people know more than him about certain subjects, and he tells people to read bloggers who are more knowledgeable. Like, he looks up to people who are in film analysis and thinks that those people are doing a better job than him. So to say that he doesn't have that reflection, I think, is a product of not actually watching his videos. But I do understand what you mean. I think a lot of his analysis is very surface level. It's very personal. It's about, his own feelings on the series, and so because of that, the analysis is often very surface level. I don't think it's as surface level as what most video essayists are doing, but in terms of what the literary world or the film, the film analysis world is doing, it is very surface level. And I do think he would benefit a lot from it. But yeah, like I think ultimately your conclusion is a mischaracterization. Um, Video essays are a cancer. I agree. It's the communist replacement for liberal individualism. Read more Marx. I've read all of Marx except for Capital. I haven't finished Capital. Um, Capital is notoriously difficult to read, so I ended up just listening to all of David Harvey's podcasts about Capital. But I do plan to finish reading Capital at some point. It's a Herculean task, man. Uh, Give me at least a little bit of credit. Digi is the best anime analyst and he still sucks. I agree. Um, Sounds like Ben Shapiro on Parasite. Let's see. Letterbox is ruining film culture. I don't like film culture in the first place. Uh, but yeah, I don't understand why people would pay attention to the written Digibro videos when his best videos were always the vlogs. The vlogs were always the best things he made. Um, Anyone who tells you read Marx is someone who can't explain it well enough. I agree. Um, Y'all should check out Rate Your Music's film section. The average user on there actually knows what they're talking about. Interesting. I had no idea. Yeah, I don't go on Rate Your Music very much. But but I do think people should read Marx in general. I do think that is very important, to get an understanding of the information yourself. But at the same time, I think we should also be focusing on presenting these ideas in a simple way where, the layman, the normal, average, everyday person can understand it. And that's what we used to be doing. Like, if people just aren't doing that as nearly as much anymore. They get obsessed with their little left-wing in-group. And there's so much toxic discourse in leftist spaces. I completely agree. It's always a discussion of, who's going to cancel who, and let's never be friends again because we disagree on this tiny aspect of Leon Trotsky's 1920 speech or something. It's all a complete waste of time with so many of these people. They don't want to get anything done. Um, the year is 2073. Thanks to the internet accelerating the speed of ideas and ideological groups, even the ridiculous and impractical ones, every IDR. IDR. I don't. I. Every ideology is now wacky. Yes. Did the mail get here yet? It's 2:30. I really don't think the mail's coming. I think I would have heard the mail truck. Ugh, come on. And everyone is part of one. Yeah. I mean, even being anti-ideology is itself an ideology because you know, Plastic Pills is a good channel to check out. He might be an accelerationist, though. Yeah, I've never heard of that guy. I'll have to check him out. These damn ideologies, get the fuck out. Damn. These damn ideologues. Oh, okay. Um, but Douglas Lane from Zero Books might be the worst amalgamation of academic hubris and YouTube essayist cliche. His writing is like imparsible, pithy, esoteric academic references where he sounds like. I don't think Douglas Lane is that difficult to understand. Like, if you listen to what he's saying, and sometimes you have to watch back a couple times, um, but I don't think he's that difficult to understand. Like usually I get the overall gist of what he's saying. I do think Ben Burgess is better though. He's just skimming the thing he's talking about. A lot of the time, yeah. Lacan talks a lot about anti-philosophy. Yeah. Yeah, Lacan is cool. I like Lacan. Um, let's see. Uh, hmm. Well, I think I'm just about running out of things to say here. Nigga needs to use a goddamn thesis statement. Yeah, fair enough. Um, yeah, I think I'm about done here. Uh, I don't have anything else to say unless one of you wants me to talk about something. There's something you want to ask. I think I'm about done. Wait. What do you need, Dad Gun? I will wait. A wacky ideology is the only good ideology. Fair enough. Rant about your ex. Rant about your ex. I feel like I've done that too many times. Ugh, fucking depressing, man. Wait, what do you need me to wait on, Dadgun? Come on. It sounds like my dad just got home. Somebody breaks into your house to attack you. The closest object to your left is what you grab to defend yourself. How skewed are you? To my left, the closest object is the Nintendo Switch. So I would have to attack them with a Nintendo Switch. I think I could handle that if I could, choke them at the same time or something. I don't know. Give some tips and tricks for hikikomori. Look up my video Backaches and Eye Strain. It explains how to deal with staying in your room all the time. Avoiding backaches and eye strain. That's the title of the video. Avoiding backaches and eye strain. Look that up. Okay, goodbye. I'll see you all later. My dad's playing, I think, heavy metal music in the other room. Goodbye.